Okay, welcome everybody to the Tuesday, July 20th regular Board of Trustees meeting for the Ross Valley School District Board of Trustees. We are I'm calling the meeting to order at 6:06 p.m. and we are going to go into closed session as our first order of business on two items, on the public employee evaluation and on a conference with real property negotiators. Before we do that, are there any, I guess we go in, we'll deal with public comment. There's no public comment on either of those.
There's no public
Correct?
comment in closed session items, no.
Okay. So we will we will go into closed session and then report out on any actions of closed session when we come back.
Okay, so I will stop. I will
just restarted it again.
I will stop recording now that we are going into closed session, and we'll resume recording when we come into open session.
Welcome back to the Tuesday, July 20th Board of Trustees for the Ross Valley School District meeting. We are reconvening in open session, and we will need to recess back into closed session at the end of the open session to finish one of the items. So we can reconvene. It is 7:03 for our reconvening, and we'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, the summer version of the Pledge of Allegiance, whatever that means to you all in saying your civic pledge for the summertime. So join me if you would like in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? And here we go. Pledge allegiance
to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. And let's move on to adopting the agenda and the time allocations. Are there any questions or proposed changes to the agenda? We have a fairly small agenda this evening, and if not, I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the agenda and time allocations.
All right, we have a motion and a second, and roll call. Rachel?
Aye, sorry. You.
Wesley?
Aye.
Shelley? Aye. Marie?
Aye.
Ryan?
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to communication. Are there any public comments regarding items on and not on the agenda?
Yes, we did receive one, and it's from an incoming new parent wondering if our schools have plans in place in the event there need to be any fire-related evacuations. And so, yes, all of our schools do. I'll just say that out there. And then later under the superintendent's updates, I was going to be covering what we've been working on this summer.
All right. And board announcements. Anything other than summer vacation plans to announce?
None from me.
Anyone? All right. And correspondence, communication of the board. I see there's a couple of them that look like they didn't get in time for the last meeting. Anything else?
No, that's it. Just the two that were there after that came in, as you mentioned, not in time for our last board meeting, which was June 15th. So they've been added.
All right. And nothing to report out from the closed session. And like I said, we'll need to go back into it at the end. And now we can go on to the presentation and action items, E1. And this is, well, Marcy, you want to tell us about this first one? Oh, hold on a second. So E1 is a proposal for a demographic analysis and enrollment projections to be performed by King Consulting. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, great. I'll let Chris do a lot of the explanation around this, but just one of the interests that we have, which is why we did get a proposal from King Consulting, is, as we know, over the past few years, we've been looking at a declining enrollment and really wanting to make sure that our district has the latest up-to-date information about enrollment projections for our school district. So as we begin planning for our future, because as we all know from our budget workshop last April, as well as our budget approvals, is that we're continuing to deficit spend. So we really need to get a look at our enrollment coming in for the next foreseeable future. And although we have our own internal processes that we use, there was nothing like a professional firm who has access to a lot more information than we do, which can take a great look at what the enrollment projection looks like for our 2 towns that serve our school district. And also the last time in the past couple of iterations of enrollment projections used, King has provided that service for our school district, and they have been right on in their low, medium, and high projections for the school district. So we are looking to have that, get an updated one. Chris, any specific details you'd like to cover?
Just that what they will be looking at is demographic data for the 2 towns. And when we talk about demographic data, they'll be looking at birth data. They'll be looking at age of children, where everybody resides in the city in terms of student population, what their home school is. And so they're able to then estimate out, based upon all of the information, how many children we would estimate to have at each grade level in terms of their home school as well as their actual schools that they're attending. And so it does provide us a lot of useful information that we would then be able to utilize as we are looking at our budget and just staffing in general. One additional note, it is the last time we did this was in 2018, and the cost of the current proposal is the exact same cost as the 2018 report. And with everything that has happened during the COVID shutdown and enrollment, a lot has changed during that 3-year period, which is why we're looking at doing this estimate again.
All right, does any trustees have any questions?
Just make the observation that we used to use, I think it was Schrader, wasn't it, Marcy?
We've used King at least the last 2 times that I'm aware of. I do remember Jamie coming to our board meetings.
Yeah, my only point is that we've always done this. It might not necessarily be on an annual basis, but it's very important to look at these trends to figure out how to project in the future. So thank you for making these arrangements and for getting King to work with us. And it's great to hear that they haven't raised their rates.
That's the best
Right.
news, at least right now.
Anyone else? Marie or Ryan? Rachel?
Oh, I wanted to echo on that, is that with the 2 to 3 years financial projection that Chris, you've shared with us, there is definitely a concern around enrollment. And we just need to get a little bit more data to make sure that you, Chris, has the right numbers and the right headcount in your hand to be able to do appropriate projection, and therefore, plan to cut or not cut as appropriately. So I think this is definitely key to do that this summer. I'm delighted we are starting that process. Like, that's great. That would be money very well spent. Thank you.
Great. So this is a discussion and a vote item. So we do need a formal approval of the recommendation.
I'll go ahead and move approval of the recommendation.
And I second.
Okay, so we've got a motion and a second to approve the demographic analysis and enrollment projections King Consulting contract. We'll take a vote. Wesley?
Aye.
Marie?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
Ryan?
Aye.
And Shelley? Aye. All right. Thank you again, Chris and Marcy, for the timely procurement of that contract so we can continue to get that information. We next have consent actions. We only have one thing on consent. Is there Any questions or anything on that? Otherwise, we can just take a motion to approve consent.
I'll move consent.
I'll second it, Rachel.
Okay, motion and a second, and a vote. Wesley,
Aye.
Rachel,
Aye.
Ryan,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
and Shelley, aye. Okay. On to board business and committee updates. I know it's the summer and I was just looking over our committee allocations and I'm not sure if there are any committees that are meeting over the summer. So this is the time.
Did we have
Anybody
a
has?
JIPA meeting, Marcy?
We have not had one since before the June meeting. I can give an update on where we are with the bus passes though. They're currently going through the lottery process for Whitehill. They've just been opened up for Hidden Valley as well. And so those both Matt and Christy have emailed the information out to our current families. Our district has, our website's been updated to indicate that buses will be running again for the 21-22. And families do go to the MTA website to go through the process there. The whole process for bus passes is not through the school district. It is through the Marin Transportation Authority.
And I will just say on a personal note, I got an email on Monday for my rising 7th grader, and he got the bus that he wanted to get to school, and the bus bringing him home will drop him off close to house over at Good Earth. So we're very, very pleased that he got on the bus, because there was a period there where we were not certain whether our position in the lottery was going to get him a seat or not. So there was a sigh of relief around here when we got our email on Monday. So I just want to let everybody know that people are getting notified about their arrangements and next year riding the bus, and my son's quite excited.
Great.
Right. My only other comment is I wanted to say, Marie, thank you for continuing to forward the JLAC, the legislative updates. It's just really helpful that the Marin County School Board Association gets regular updates from the consultant that they work with, and having you forward that on to us is also very helpful to stay up to date on all of the budget trailer bills and the COVID stuff. And so thanks for forwarding those.
Yeah, thank you. It was actually suggested by MCOE Ken Lippy himself. He said that was kind of common practice just to forward. And I thought that was just easy enough so that you can kind of have a look at them.
Great.
But thank you for mentioning.
And Marcy, when do a lot of these committees resume? And maybe this is Teresa, in terms of getting an updated schedule. That was really helpful to have that schedule last time that had kind of the whole year mapped out. I'm not quite sure when that'll come back to us.
I think we'll have an update in, we will start getting the information in August. I can't remember right now all of the committees, but my memory is very few of them have August meetings.
Mhm.
There is a Safe Routes to School though, right, Rachel? And is that August or September?
I think it's like August 3rd. It's a
That one.
Friday. It's the first Friday in August.
Yeah, I think most of them though do resume in later part of August or September.
Got it. And
But
I
yeah, we'll
believe
do
we
that.
also,
Same thing again, putting them all on your calendars, doing the calendar invites, yeah, so that you have those.
and I believe that we also have a equity committee in August. Is that scheduled for August?
We have not scheduled, I do not remember, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think that comes up before, just right around when school starts. It's the only one I know of that's coming up around that.
Okay.
So, okay. Any other board business around committee updates? I don't think so. And we can go on then to superintendent and cabinet report.
All right, well, we have very light administrative attendance because it is the summer break for most. And so it's just Chris and I here with cabinet updates. And so Chris, do you have any from M&O and or business services?
Yes, Actually, what I wanted to talk about very briefly is that this is the busy time of the year for the Business Services Division. We are preparing on the CNS side, the food services, we're preparing to serve meals for our children this coming school year. We are in the accounts payable arena, closing our books, payroll, accounts receivable, everything related to finance. In addition, we are doing all of our deep cleaning at the school sites, and we're also doing our summer projects. And what we will be doing is coming back at the September board meeting and talking a little bit more and providing a presentation on what those projects were and what they look like at the beginning and what they look like at the end. So, and with that, have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and then as you saw from the consent agenda, we've been busy filling positions, and we still have a number, especially on the classified side, a number of positions to fill. And so HR department is busy getting those interviews set up and recruitment and all of that, so that hopefully by the time school starts, we'll be fully staffed. That's the plan. And then we're also unpacking the independence study for the school year, because as we left the school year in the 2021 in June, we heard that independence study was going to be the only option for a virtual learning. But as part of that trailer bill, which we have been keeping abreast of, is the state is allowing a little bit more of a robust independence study program. And it comes with some very big requirements around it. And those are for families who, due to COVID-19, aren't ready to send their kids back to in-person school. So we're working on looking at what Ross Valley's plan will be for the 21. This is only going to be available as of right now, is what the state says, for the 21-22 school year. And then independence study will revert back to the way that we all know and understand independent studies. So there are some changes. So be on the lookout for, we have to make changes to our board policy and administrative regulations, which will be coming back to you all. And then also we are planning for what the protocols will look like with the COVID-19. So CDPH has come out with masking requirements for all students and staff indoors. And then we're waiting now for the Marin Health and Human Services. As I mentioned in June, they were reducing from a 30-point guideline down to a 10, but we don't know what that looks like yet. And so once we get that from MHHS, we will be making changes to our site plans when the principals return and getting that updated. And then as we are preparing, we know that there's some horrific wildfires going on in the state of California. We do anticipate that we will have bad air days and or potential PSPSs as we come into the new school year. Maybe it's not at the beginning like it was last school year when we were all in VLA. And the year before it was in October. In 2021, it was August. So we don't know exactly what it's going to look like for our school year this next year, but we are updating our PSPS protocols, getting everything ready so that we are hoping to not have to close school, that we can keep school open in the event that there's a bad air day, and or if there's PSPS, we may not be able to actually be in school, but we can keep school going. And so we learned a lot through COVID-19. So we're updating those plans, as well as all of our sites will be re-looking at their evacuation, emergency service, emergency planning. Every site has those plans in place. And of course, what we do annually is to revisit those. And that is in Eric Sable, our Director of Student Services wheelhouse. And so he will be working with principals to review and make any updates that we need to for those. So again, it's a busy summer, but at least it's feeling a little bit different than it was last year as we were rebuilding school and what school would look like and really having that unknown. So at least as of right now, the unknowns are a lot less than they were last year, and that's a great feeling. So I think those are the updates for tonight.
Marcy, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
How do those emergency plans for evacuation and bad air days get communicated to parents? Is that through the principals with respect to their specific sites in the beginning
Yeah.
of the year? How's that been handled in the past?
Yeah, there's some information that we don't share because we don't want it public for safety reasons. And so there's some that is maintained at school site. But what's really critical is that families get their emergency contact cards in and update it as soon as possible. Because if the parent is unable, we have their parent and contact information, right, from ARIES and so on with their registrations. But in the event that they need to have somebody else come pick up their child in the case of either they're sick or whatever, we need the emergency contact card. So that's really critical. So we'll be putting a renewed effort on that because I think with COVID, there wasn't a need. And so we didn't get those back as quickly. So all of the plans their families are notified. It's a direct push and or whatever can be available for public consumption is posted to the website. But the sites do maintain their plans at the school site.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the superintendent or cabinet updates? Because if we don't, I believe that is, as I mentioned, this was a quick, short meeting this evening. Our next piece of business is actually a continuation of the closed session, which we do need to do. So we will go ahead and adjourn.
Recess.
No, recess. Thank you. Thank you. We will not adjourn. We will recess into a continuation. We will recess into a continuation of the closed session, and then we will reconvene to close out the meeting. So.
All right, and for this part, we pause the recording and then we stop the live streaming. And there is no action that's going to be taken in the closed session. And so once we come out, we will though resume recording to finish out the meeting, but not the live stream portion. And then as has been historically our practice in the district is to get the recording posted within 72 hours to our district website.
Great.
Alrighty,
So we
I will
will recess at 7:24. All right, it is 8:32 and we have ended the continuation of our closed session and we are reconvening back into open session. There's
at 8:32 p.m.
At 8:32. Nothing to report out, just a continuation of a conversation. And so we're going to move into item number J, meeting review, meeting debrief. Anything else in terms of future meeting topics or next step questions that anyone had from this very short meeting? So I don't imagine much, but speak now. And if not, we can then adjourn the meeting at 8:33. So thank you all. We'll go ahead and adjourn that meeting at 8:33. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your summer and we will see you back for our next meeting, which will be August 3rd. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. All right.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night. Bye-bye, everybody.